Class 10th subject Geography Social Science chapter number 3 topic Agriculture. India is an agriculturally important country. Two-thirds of its population is engaged in agriculture activities. Agriculture is a primary activity which produces more of the food that we consume. Besides food grains, it also produces raw material for various industries. Types of farming. Agriculture is an age-old economic activity in our country. Over these years, cultivation methods have changed significantly depending upon the characteristics of physical environment, technological know-how, and socio-culture practices. Farming varies from subsistence to commercial type. So children, there are three types of farming: primitive subsistence farming, intensive subsistence farming, commercial farming. Primitive subsistence farming. This type of farming is still practiced in few pockets of India. Primitive subsistence agriculture is practiced on small patches of land with the help of primitive tools like digging sticks, hoe, dhow, and family community labor. This type of farming depends upon monsoon, natural fertility of the land, and soil suitability of other environmental conditions to the crops grown. So children, depending on rainfall for irrigation, artificial fertilizers and technology is not used. Slash and burn agriculture. It is a primitive system of farming in which a piece of land is cleared of vegetation by slashing and burning and is then cultivated. Children, primitive subsistence farming uses old form of farming. Procedure. Children, primitive types of farming is Juming in northeastern states like Assam, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland. Tamlo in Manipur. Dipa in Bastar district of Chhattisgarh and in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Next comes intensive subsistence farming. This type of farming is practiced in areas of high population pressure on land. It is labor-intensive farming, where high doses of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used for obtaining higher production. Intensive farming involves chemical fertilizers, pesticides and growth regulators. Intensive farming thus provide large quantities of relatively cheap food. And the third one is commercial farming. The main characteristic of this type of farming is the use of higher doses of modern inputs. For example, high yielding variety, that is HYV seeds, chemical fertilizers, insecticides and pesticides in order to obtain higher productivity. The degree of commercialization of agriculture varies from one region to another. For example, rice is a commercial crop in Haryana and Punjab, but in Odisha it is a subsistence crop. Next comes features of commercial farming. Plantation is also a type of commercial farming. In this type of farming, a single crop is grown on a large area. The plantation has an interface of agriculture and industry. Plantations over large tracts of land using capital-intensive inputs with the help of migrant laborers. All the produce is used as raw material in respective industries. Children, as you can see in the given figures, in India, tea plantation, coffee plantation, rubber plantation, sugarcane plantation and banana plantation, etc. are important plantation crops. Tea in Assam and North Bengal, coffee in Karnataka are some of the important plantations crops grown in these states. Children, since the production is mainly for market, a well-developed network of transport and communication Connecting the plantation areas, processing industries and markets plays an important role in the development of plantations. Cropping pattern. You have studied the physical diversities and plurality of cultures in India. These are also reflected in agriculture practices and cropping patterns in the country. Various types of food and fiber crops, vegetables and fruits, spices and condiments, etc., constitute some of the important crops grown in the country. India has 3 cropping seasons. Classification of crops based on season in which they are grown. Kharif, that is monsoon crops, planted in June, harvested in October. They are rice, cotton, maize and groundnut. Zaid, that is a summer crops, planted in March, harvested in June. And they are watermelon, cucumber. Next comes Rabi crops. It's a winter crop, planted in November, harvested in April. And plantations are wheat, peas, barley and gram. Major crops. A variety of food and non-food crops are grown in different parts of country depending upon the variations in soil, climate and cultivation practices. Major crops grown in India are rice, wheat, millets, pulses, tea, coffee, sugarcane, oilseeds, cotton and jute, etc. Rice. It is the staple food crop of a majority of the people in India. Our country is the second largest producer of rice in the world after China. It is a kharif crop which requires high temperature, that is above 25 degrees Celsius, and high humidity with annual rainfall above 100 cm. In the areas of less rainfall, it grows with help of irrigation. So children, as you can see in the given figure, rice cultivation and the rice crops. Children, rice is grown in the plains of north and northeastern India, coastal areas and the deltic regions. Rice growing states of India. In the given figure, children, you can observe rice growing states in north zone. Children, north zone is colored in green color. And next is rice growing states, that is in central zone. The states are shown in the blue shade. And the next is rice growing states in southern India. You can see the states are colored in the yellow shade. So typically north zone is Jammu Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Jharkhand, West Bengal, Assam, and the central zone is Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, and the south zone is Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Orissa, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Wheat. This is the second most important cereal crop. It is the main food crop in northwestern part of the country. This rabi crop requires a cool growing season and a bright sunshine at the time of ripening. It requires 50 to 75 cm of annual rainfall evenly distributed over the growing season. Children, as you can see in the figures, wheat cultivation and wheat harvesting. In the given figure, it's a map of India cultivation of wheat. States-wise distribution. The major wheat producing states are Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan and parts of Madhya Pradesh. Millets. Jawar, bajra and ragi are the important millets grown in India. Though these are known as coarse grains, they have very high nutritional value. Ragi is very rich in iron, calcium, other micronutrients and roughage. So children, in the given figure you can see jawar cultivation. Children, jawar, third most important crop in terms of production, grows well in moist areas. Largest producer is Maharashtra, followed by Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Madhya Pradesh. Children, it is a rain-fed crop mostly grown in the moist areas which hardly needs irrigation. Bajra grows well on sandy soils and shallow black soil. Bajra producing states are Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh, Maharashtra, Gujarat and Haryana. Maize. It is a crop which is used both as food and fodder. It is kharif crop which requires temperature between 21 to 27 degrees Celsius and grows well in old alluvial soil. In some states like Bihar, maize is grown in rabi season also. Use of moderate inputs such as HYV seeds, fertilizers and irrigation have contributed to the increasing production of maize. So children, in the given figure you can see maize plantation and maringo seeds that are HYV seeds. Pulses. India is the largest producer as well as the consumer of pulses in the world. These are the major source of protein in a vegetarian diet. Children, pulses need less moisture and survive even in dry conditions. Being leguminous crops, all these by fixing nitrogen from the air, therefore these are mostly grown in rotation with other crops. Major pulse producing states in India are Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra and Karnataka. Oilseeds. In 2014, India was the second largest producer of groundnut in the world after China. In rapeseed production of India was third largest producer in the world after Canada and China in 2014. Different oilseeds are grown covering approximately 12% of the total cropped area of the country. Children, you can see in the given figures oilseeds are groundnut, mustard, coconut, sesame, that is in Hindi is known as til, soya bean, castor seeds, linseed, sunflower seeds, cotton seeds. Children, most of these are edible and used as cooking mediums. However, some of these are also used as raw material in the production of soap, cosmetics and ointments. Tea. Tea cultivation is an example of plantation agriculture. It is also an important beverage crop introduced in India initially by the British. Today, most of the tea plantations are owned by Indians. Children, as you can see in the given figures, tea leaves harvesting and tea garden. It requires abundant, cheap and skilled labor. Tea is processed within the tea garden to restore its freshness. Major tea producing states are Assam, hills of Darjeeling and Jalpaiguri districts, West Bengal, Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Children, apart from these, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Meghalaya, Andhra Pradesh and Tripura are also tea producing states in the country. In 2014, India was the second largest producer of tea after China. Coffee. In 2014, India produced 3.5% of the world coffee production. Indian coffee is known in the world for its good quality. The Arabica variety initially brought from Yemen is produced in the country. Children, as you can see in the given figures, coffee plantation harvesting and coffee plantation garden. Children, this variety is a great demand over the world. Initially, its cultivation was introduced on the Baba Budan hills and even today its cultivation is confined to the Nilgiri in Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Horticulture crops. In 2014, India was the second largest producer of fruits and vegetables in the world after China. India is the producer of tropical as well as temperate fruits. As you can see in the figure, children, mangoes of Maharashtra, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Uttar Pradesh and West Bengal, oranges of Nagpur and Cherrapunji, that is in Meghalaya, bananas of Kerala, Mizoram, Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, lychee and guava of Uttar Pradesh and Bihar, pineapples of Meghalaya, grapes of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Maharashtra. Apples, pears, apricot and walnuts of Jammu and Kashmir and Himachal Pradesh are in great demand the world over. Non-food crops. Rubber. It is an equatorial crop but under special conditions. It is also grown in tropical and subtropical areas. It requires moist and humid climate with rainfall of more than 200 cm and temperature above 25 degrees Celsius. Children, rubber is an important industrial raw material. It is mainly grown in Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Andaman and Nicobar Islands and Garo Hills of Meghalaya. In 2012-13, India ranked 4th among the world's natural rubber producers. Children, as you can see in the figure, rubber propagation by seeds, seeding raised with hybrid seeds collected from approved polyclonal gardens. Viability of rubber seeds is short and should be sown without delay on moderately shaded, well-drained soil beds. Germination seeds beds are 90 cm wide, 10 to 15 cm raised and conveniently long. Collected seeds are washed, spread on beds and pressed gently into sand. Seeds are covered with gunny bag or coir and watered twice a day to avoid evaporation losses. Children, germination takes 6 to 7 days. Beds are inspected daily. Seeds with emerging radicals are picked, washed in water and planted in nursery medium. Non-germinated seeds are discarded. According to the Economic Survey of 2010-11, India is the world's 4th largest producer and 2nd largest consumer of rubber. Rubber sector is divided into production and consumption manufacturing. Under production it comes natural rubber, synthetic rubber, and under consumption, that is manufacturing, tire segment and non-tire segment. Fiber crops. Cotton, jute, hemp and natural silk are the 4 major fiber crops grown in India. The first 3 are derived from the crops grown in the soil. The latter is obtained from cocoons of the silkworms fed on green leaves, especially mulberry. Rearing of silkworms for the production of silk fiber is known as sericulture. Cotton. India is believed to be the originally home of the cotton plant. Cotton is one of the main raw materials for cotton plant. Cotton is one of the main raw materials for the cotton textile industry. In 2014, India was 2nd largest producer of cotton after China. Cotton grows well in drier parts of the black cotton soil of the Deccan Plateau. Jute fiber crop. It is known as the golden fiber. Jute grows well on the well-drained fertile soils in the flood plains where soils are renewed every year. Children, as you can see in the given figures, that is jute plantation and jute fiber material. High temperature is required during the time of growth. West Bengal, Bihar, Assam, Odisha and Meghalaya are the major jute producing states. It is used in the making gunny bags, mats, ropes, yarn, carpets and other artifacts. Due to its high cost, it is losing market to synthetic fibers and packing materials, particularly the nylon. Technological and institutional reforms. It was mentioned in the previous pages that agriculture has been practiced in India for thousands of years. Sustained uses of land without Compatible institutional changes have hindered the pace of agriculture development. In spite of development of sources of irrigation, most of the farmers in large parts of the country still depend upon monsoon and natural fertility in order to carry on their agriculture. Cultivation, consolidation of holdings, cooperation and abolition of zamindari etc. were given priority to bring about institutional reforms in the country after independence. Land reform was the main focus of our first 5-year plan. The right of inheritance had already led to fragmentation of land holdings, necessitating consolidation of holdings. Children, land reforms. Land reform, a purposive change in the way in which agricultural land is held or owned, the methods of cultivation that are employed, or the relation of agriculture to the rest of the economy. Reforms such as these may be proclaimed by a government, by interested groups, or by revolution. So children, what are the types of reform classified according to the whether they deal with land title and terms of holding, land distribution, the scale of operation, the pattern of cultivation, or supplementary measures such as credit, marketing, etc. Children, as you have studied why land reform is important, reforms are also considered essential as it provides social justice to millions of cultivators. Coming back to the law of land reforms were enacted, but the implementation was lacking or lukewarm. The Government of India embarked upon introducing agriculture reforms to improve Indian agriculture in 1960s and 1970. The Green Revolution, based on the use of package technology, and the White Revolution, that is Operation Flood, were some of strategies initiated to improve the lot of Indian agriculture. Children, before moving on the next topic, let's study about GDP in deep. What is a simple definition of GDP? Gross domestic product. The gross domestic product measures the value of economic activity within a country. Strictly defined, GDP is the sum of the market values or prices of all final goods and services produced in an economy during a period of time. GDP is a number that expresses the worth of the output of a country in local currency. Moving on to next question. How GDP is calculated? The gross domestic product, that is GDP, is the market value of all final goods and services produced within a country in a given period of time. The GDP is the officially recognized totals. The following equations is used to calculate. Formula of GDP: private consumption plus gross investment plus government spending plus export minus imports. The GDP deflator remains extremely important as it measures price inflation. It is calculated by dividing nominal GDP by real GDP and then multiplying by 100. As you can see in the given figure, GDP by sum of spending factor incomes or outputs. GDP under expenditure is consumption, government spending, investment spending, change in value of stock, exports, imports, that is equals to GDP, known as aggregate demand. GDP under factor incomes. Income from people in jobs and in self-employment, for example, wages and salaries, profits of private sector businesses, rent income from the ownership of land. GDP value of output, value added from each of the main economic sectors. These sectors are primary, secondary, manufacturing, quaternary. Contribution of agriculture to the national economy, employment and output. Agriculture has been in the backbone of the Indian economy, though its shares in the gross domestic product, that is GDP, children, which we have already studied, has registered a declining trend from 1951 onwards. In 2010-2011, about 52% of the total workforce was employed by the farm sector, which makes more than half of the Indian population depend on agriculture for sustenance. The declining share of agriculture in the GDP is a matter of serious concern because any decline and stagnation in agriculture will lead to a decline in other spheres of economy, having wider implications for society. Children, in the given figure, you can see agriculture growth slips agri GDP growth at constant prices since 2011-12. Considering the importance of agriculture in India, the Government of India made concerned efforts to modernize agriculture. Establishment of Indian Council of Agriculture Research, that is ICAR, agriculture universities, veterinary services and animal breeding centers, horticulture development, research and development in the field of meteorology and weather forecast, etc., were given priority for improving Indian agriculture. Apart from this, improving the rural infrastructure was also considered essential for the same. Children, you can see in the given figure sector-wise distribution of GDP in India, and in the next figure you can see economy survey analysis. Under economy survey analysis is Department of Economic Affairs prepares the first draft, then cleared by Chief Economic Advisor and Secretary of Economic Affairs, and the last stage is then final version is scrutinized by the Finance Secretary and Finance Minister. Economy Survey 2015 to 2016. Sector 2013-14, 2014-2015, 2015 and to 2016. Under sector is agriculture 4.2, minus 0.2, 1.1, and the next is industry under 2013 to 2014 is 5.0, under year 2014 to 2015 is 5.9, and 2015 to 2016 is 17.3. And under sector is services 2013 to 2014 is 7.8, 2014 to 2015 is 10.3, 2015 to 2016 is 7.6. And you can observe the GDP is 6.6, simultaneously 7.2 and 7.6. So children, moving on to the next topic, it's a concern raising topic. Why are farmers committing suicides in several states of the country? When farmers have been facing so many problems and land under agriculture is decreasing, can we think of alternative employment opportunities in the agriculture sector? Children, in the given picture you can see the seeds of farmer suicides. Crop failure, price crash act as triggers. Center cases imports to check price rise. World Food Day theme is invest in agriculture for food security. Produce more food grains. Diversify your diet for achieving better nutrition for health and development. Food security. You know that food is a basic need and every citizen of the country should have access to food which provides minimum nutritional level. If any segment of our population does not have this security access, that segment suffers from lack of food security. The number of people who do not have food security is disproportionately large in some regions of our country, particularly in economically less developed states with higher incidence of poverty. The remote areas of the country are more prone to natural disasters and uncertain food supply. In order to ensure availability of food to all sections of society, our government carefully designs a national food security system. They consist of two components, that is buffer stock and public distribution system PDS. Children, as you can see in the given figure, food security consists of security, sovereignty and safety. Food security is availability, access and utilization. Availability is the production, processing, water and soil management, trade and stockpiling, and access is transport, equitable distribution, marketing, affordability, purchasing power. Utilization is good health indicators, nutritious food, food safety and quality, clear water, sanitation. Food Corporation of India (FCI). FCI is responsible for procuring and stocking food grains, whereas distribution is ensured by Public Distribution System PDS. The FCI procures food grains from the farmers at the government announced minimum support price, that is MSP. The government used to provide subsidies on agriculture inputs such as fertilizers, power and water. These subsidies have now reached unsustainable levels and have also led to large inputs. Excessive and imprudent use of fertilizers and water has led to waterlogging, salinity and depletion of essential micronutrients in the soil. The high MSP subsides in input and committed FCI purchases have distorted the cropping pattern. Wheat and paddy crops are being grown more for the MSP they get. Punjab and Haryana are foremost examples. This has also created a serious imbalance in intercrop parties. Agriculture infrastructure. Each district and block can be made self-sufficient in food grain production if government provides proper agriculture infrastructure. Credit linkages and also encourages the use of latest techniques instead of concentrating only on rice and wheat. The food crop with a better growth potential in that particular area must be encouraged. Creation of necessary infrastructure like irrigation facilities, availability of electricity, etc. may also attract private investments in agriculture. In the given figure, agriculture infrastructure is a physical, social, institutional equipments. Infrastructure facilities is accessibility, availability, satisfaction. And under socio-economic factors are education, access to extension services, non-farm activities, farm organization membership, age, marital status, religion, year of farming, house members, assistance, and agriculture is production, yield, revenue generated, that is income. So this whole cycle is interrelated, children. There has been a gradual shift from cultivations of food crops to cultivation of fruits, vegetables, oilseeds and industrial crops. This has led to the reduction in net sown area under cereal and pulses. With the growing population puts a big question mark over the country's future food security. The competition for land between non-agriculture uses such as housing, etc. and agriculture has resulted in reduction in the net sown area. The productivity of land has started showing a declining trend. Fertilizers, pesticides and insecticides, which once showed dramatic results, are now being held responsible for degrading the soils. Periodic scarcity of water has led to reduction in area under irrigation. Insufficient water management has led water logging and salinity. So children focus on increasing food grain production, which should be on a sustainable basis, and also free trade in grains will create massive employment and reduce poverty in rural areas. India food grains production. Cereals, and the next column is year 2011 to 12, 2012 to 13, 2013 to 14, 2014 to 15, 2015 to 16. and under cereals are rice, wheat, maize, coarse grains, pulses. So children, in the given figure you can see that under cereal is rice, 2011 to 12 is 105.30, and year 2012 to 13 is 105.24, and the year 2013 to 14 is 106.54, and the year 2014 to 2015 is 105.48, and year 2015 to 16 is 104.32. And simultaneously you can observe in the figure the food grain production. Cereals are wheat, maize, coarse grains, pulses, and the total is given, children. Land degradation. One important reason is land degradation is free power to a section of farmers has encouraged them to pump groundwater to grow water intensive crops in low rainfall areas, that is rice in Punjab, sugarcane in Maharashtra. This unsustainable pumping has reduced water storage in aquifers. Consistently, many wells and tube wells have run dry. This has pushed the marginal and small farmers out of cultivation. So children, in the given images you can see different kind of land degradation. Impact of globalization on agriculture. Globalization is not a new phenomenon. It was there at the time of colonization. Globalization. Children, globalization refers to increase the movement of all economic aspects, cutting cross boundaries of native states, aiming of the integration of all domestic economy with global economy. In the 19th century, when European traders came to India, at that time too, India's spices were exported to different countries of the world, and farmers of South India were encouraged to grow these crops. Children, during the British period, cotton belts of India attracted the British, and ultimately cotton was exported to Britain as a raw material for their textile industries. Cotton textile industries in Manchester and Liverpool flourished due to the availability of good quality cotton from India. Children, you have studied about the Champaran movement which started in 1917 in Bihar. This was started because farmers of that region were forced to grow indigo on their land because it was necessary for the textile industries which were located in Britain. They were unable to grow food grains to sustain their families. Today, Indian agriculture finds itself at crossroads. To make agriculture successful and profitable, proper thrust should be given to the improvement of the condition of marginal and small farmers. The Green Revolution promised much, but today it's under controversies. It is being alleged that it has caused land degradation due to overuse of chemicals, drying aquifers, and vanishing biodiversity. The keyword today is Gen Revolution, which includes genetic engineering. Children, genetic engineering is when the genetic makeup of an organism is altered by inserting, deleting, or changing specific pieces of DNA. Genetic engineering has also made it possible to produce new varieties of crops and potentially expand dietary variation. In fact, organic farming is much in vogue today because it is practiced without factory-made chemicals such as fertilizers and pesticides. Hence, it does not affect environment in a negative manner. Children, in the given figure, you can observe vermicompost, green leaf manures, crop rotation, manures, biofertilizers, animal husbandry, biological management. So in the given figure, you can see organic farming structure.